Just going to do a quick flash through the garden as it is today in June 2022. This is the Calamagrostis border, shown many a time. Today's another good windy day to demonstrate why you buy this kind of thing. There you go, fantastic. We've got all the grasses in this particular border are starting to flower now, or seed. That's a deschampsia. That's another Calamagrostis Waldenbush. Another grass there, panicum. And then we've got this lovely one that I've been waiting for in desperation to see how it's going to look, and it's looking cracking. The flower heads, the seed heads are now starting to come out, and as we can see there are 6. I was hoping for 7. I like odd numbers, but there you go. I'll give that another 3 or 4 days and they're going to be up and away and looking brilliant. Other parts of the garden are looking great. That's a massive Persicaria polymorpha back there, the white flowered one. That's got a lot taller than I expected it to here. So it does like the weather, It does like the weather actually, and it also likes what it's planted into. There's a grass there I've plonked there at the moment. This is going to be a bit of a wildlife pond going on here. As the autumn approaches, I shall start digging that out. The grass is there and we'll sit there. I do this kind of thing regular. I put a plant where I think I'd like to see it. Give it time and we'll see what happens, and if I still like the idea when we come to dig the pond itself, then I shall plant it. That'll become a quite a tall plant, 4 foot. It's a miscanthus called cabaret, and it's a really nice one for putting next to ponds because it's got this reed type of look about it, and it won't get too big for people. So that's probably one to go for. It's very windy up here today. I'm on the Lincolnshire Wolds up here. And it's very, very windy, but we'll take you for a quick zoom round. I'm not going to describe too much to you, just like the plants do the talking. We'll bring the attention of 1 or 2 of them to you. This one. That's lovely. What was I going to say about it? I was going to say, oh, hang on, let's have a look at this. So, this is a better view. It's a Rheum palmatum. Still not sure what. I was down at Beth Chatto's yesterday, looking at was down doing some sort of a peat-free talk and discussion amongst some of the big growers. It was really, really good. I was surprised to see that Harriet Anderson was there, and some of the very famous plant producers were down there. Claire Austin, Hardy's plants were there. There was lots of them. We're just having a general chit-chat, really. It was quite fun. Now, this is the boardwalk border. That has very much impressed me this year. I've had this in gardens loads of times. This is called Ami Major, so I think I've had a different form before. There's a smaller form of Ami, and I think that's the one I've had because I've never had Ami Major get that big before. That's 7 foot. I'm stood 2 foot above it at the moment on this kind of bank, well above it. There's some good plants in here. That's the deschampsia I keep mentioning, which is good. This is Dormia, a very nice plant this. I like this plant. I can't remember its second name, just look up Dormia, it's in there. It's in the umbel family. Really nice, very good, like that. Plants of distinction, Elianthus augialis. I got to see the very clump that came from yesterday in their stock fields, because it came from Bressingham, Beth Chatto's. It came from there, so it's really good. Got to see the clump it comes from. It was standing very well there. I've tied it up, and as I said before, it doesn't need to be tied up. They haven't got it tied up at all, and it does very well for them. But I've just got a bit of time I keep working around it, so I keep tying it up because I keep digging the soil up around it, really. This is the owl border, or part of the owl border. I'm walking through it. I'm doing what I shouldn't do. I want more rain on this. I may have to intervene because I've got the garden open to a gardening club next week and I don't want it to look terrible. It's looking good at the minute, and I try and avoid watering as much as I can, and I will do with this. If it at least maintains this look, then I'll be happy with it. The catanus I've cut back. It's re-spouting, so what I've done is re-sprouting, not re-spouting. So that section there, you can see it's starting to re-sprout, and what I wanted was, it was getting too tall and too floppy. It was doing this kind of thing, but the other ones were too long. I'm trying to cut it back in. I shall give it yet another cut through summer, in the next month or two, cut it back again, and then next year I'll hopefully be getting closer to where I want it, but a bit more tight and compact. The shack continues to fascinate me. I love it. The boardwalk and the decking. I love them. They're really, really good. I like them. I'm pleased with them. This bamboo Thamnocalmus is looking really good. This is Q Beauty, and it's sent up. I'm not going to count them, how many new stems it's sent up, culms as they're called, but it's sent up over 10, if not 15. This is the shady border. I've got a grass in here. You'd wonder why in the shady border, because all shady borders have a point where they're not shady, and this is the point where it's not shady, hence that. Now, this is a bit of a seating area. At the minute, I've got all this board on it. That's going into the shack. It's going to line the shack out. Some osters in the cow drinker there. And believe it or not, I very rarely water that. It contains a lot of soil in there that's very moisture retentive. So every now and again I might bring a couple of gallons and just douse the whole thing. Not the plant, I'll just douse the whole thing to get the water into that soil. And that's really good. Reusing, recycle, upcycle, call it what you will. That's what I've done with this one. Made that little feature out of it. This is the approach down to grassy bottom. I've shown it many times before. I'm looking forward to this one. This is a yellow foxglove called Stewartii, Digitalis Stewartii. Seed's true, so I shall be watching for that. It's about to flower. It's got its flowers set, and if it stopped moving, I'd be able to show you it. There you go, little knobbly little flowers. They're going to be yellow. I look forward to that. I'm not keen on yellow, but you know, never had that one before. This is Lampophysis. Saw this down at Beth Chatto's yesterday. I tell people it gets 3 foot in its leaf. You need to allow space for it, but at Beth's it's about 6 foot high. Now you think that's very high. Yes, it is. But if you put it in the right position, it just looks stunning. And down at Beth Chatto's, it just knocked my socks off, to be honest. And it's looking great here. If you come into my garden at any point, I do have these for sale. I have been producing them. More Calamagrostis Waldenbush. Looks great. I've got it all over the place now. I absolutely love it. And the little fountain's working today. The water boatman, as I talked about Walter Boatman last year, turned out to be Walterini Boatman and produced me hundreds of these things. There are far less now because they are a bit, they eat each other basically. Which is great. And this is a nepeta I'm very impressed with, and yesterday I actually saw where it came from as well, because I bought it from Beth Chatto's over the internet, and it's called Nepeta tuberosa ex Madrid Botanical Gardens, and it's got little hoverflies on it. I've seen bees on it. Sean from the Pollinator Gardener on Instagram asked me to keep my eye on that. So if he's watching this, Sean, it's had bees on it. It has a lot of hoverflies on it, and they all like it. It seems to do well. This is maturing nicely now. So we'll just have a quick look on this. The syringium is a Garvifolium. Great if you're only used to the blue ones. This is green, a bit wacky, but I like it. It's nice. Let's have a look up here. Bit of my pots going on here. Got a new sedum, by the way. Oh, all my plants are blown up. I bought all these from Beth's yesterday. Some stunners in here. But this one here, I love it. It's pinkish. It's shown quite well through this. I also bought this wacky thing. Look at this. You ever seen out like this? This plant here. I bought that, and Julia, who's Beth's granddaughter, said, "Oh, I've got that one." And then Rosie Hardy saw me at the back of the queue when I was buying them. Oh, sorry, she was at the back of me, and she was quite intrigued by it, so I snapped a piece off and said, "There you go, Rosie, grow that yourself. If she can't grow it, nobody can." Okay, so there's this. This is what I brought you up to show you. A couple of things, really. The fennel, the purple fennel. looking good in it. Look at that, I'm just so impressed with this plant. You want an easy plant, this is the baby to get. It's stunning. This is the way in, the entrance into the garden. There's some views down the garden. It's took some planting, it's took some hard graft, this garden, and it's by no means finished yet, but I'm quite happy where I'm at the moment. We're getting there with it. This is a Lenny and Moorheim Beauty, now flowering. I've got several of these all over, dotted around. Remember, plant the same plant several times into a border. It gives it a bit of continuity. Don't look so bitty then. Oh yeah, let's show you this. Got to show you this, right? I didn't know I was getting this. It's my birthday in August, and my girlfriend opened the car and said, I've got to show you this now because I need the boot space. She's not sure who's bought me it yet, whether she's buying me it or whether her mum's bought me it, but somebody's bought me it, and I love it, and that'll be put up today. We're not quite sure where we're going to put it up yet. We may put it up in this area here. This is our like courtyardy bit that's going to be built over time. Looks great. Little water feature I'll show you while I'm here. This is a self-contained water feature with a tap. It's got a pump inside. It's not full of water at the moment. I fill that up, and then that water looks like the tap's continually running. I love it. I'll get that working at some point and show you, because it's not used enough. It's not shown, and I need to show you it. So this is the gravel garden I've shown you before. That sort of took place over winter. We dug it out, or I dug it out on the miserablest days you've ever seen. It's got hardcore under it, membrane. I've done a YouTube on it, so check up on that and you'll see how I've done it. And then it's been gravelled over the top of that, and I think it's working really well, and especially on a hot sunny day like today, it just looks superb. This is the birch border. This was one of the only borders that was here, and when I say one of the only borders, it was tiny. Where the birch trees there, that was about the depth of it. So that there was the depth. It ran up to the brick wall, and that was pretty much it, with a few random plants. In fact, the Nyphophia over there was one of those plants, which I've kept. I just like this one. It's just nice, a little small one. If anybody knows the name of that particular one, I guess I could look it up, find out what it is, but I haven't as of yet. So there you go, a lovely sunny day. The garden looking stunning. It's only going to get better with the miscanthus and the late season perennials yet to flower, and lots of changes still to be made. The Phyllictrum's now coming out properly, as it should do. This is Phyllictrum Ellen. One of two in the garden, but that colour's just a standout colour and a standout plant. Got Nyphophia there. I'm just trying to see it through this camera lens. I can't see, it's the sun shining on it. Can't tell whether you can see that. It's a Nyphophia, and it was full of those when I first came here. Looks really good. So I'm using lots of features, as you've seen if you've been watching my videos. Lots of these types of features. Over time they will blend in a little bit better. We're planting them up. Time is against us all the time, isn't it? It's you know, these features stand out to start with, and then they generally over time blend in nicely once the plants catch up. So there you go. We'll catch up on grassy bottom. Looking very good at the moment. If you wonder why I'm so high up, I'm quite high up because of this wall. It's about 2.5 to 3 foot high, so I'm above the garden, which is great. Okay, I'll show you again once it gets further on in its flowering. Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Ta-da.